Hey Maverick Nation, and welcome back to Bullpen Bites. So this week we're going to be getting into some of our power play and penalty kill cheers. Here's for our bullpen and cheer guide breakdown, part 3. Now, certainly, if you haven't been looking at social media here recently, the roster for the hockey team just dropped this week, which means we are getting closer to that hockey season, so probably a bit of an appropriate time to get into some of our more hockey-centric cheers. Now, hopefully, with the drop of that roster, that also means that soon we will be getting a possible announcement about maybe them once again doing a white-black scrimmage for this year, as they did last year, where we're going to get to it and kind of see the team in action a little bit. Get to see what some of the newcomers have to offer for this year, as well as be able to get to meet the guys and get a couple autographs. And of course, there's get a signed schedule poster. If you're like, what I've got behind me here. But without further ado, let's get right back into things. So we're going to start off with some of the chants and cheers that we do for power plays and our penalty kills. Of course, starting off with the power play. That initial moment where the deaf and blind gentleman with the stripes does finally raise their arm and blow the whistle to call the penalty upon our opponent. So, as that opposing player is skating towards the penalty box, the chant directed towards them while also kind of pointing at them is to simply just yell out, skate, 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 skate. And then, of course, once they do finally reach the box, it is changed into basically just essentially telling them what to do. Sit down, hack! Now, for a specific penalty, for like too many men, and when on the rare occasion that does actually get called, we do have two kind of different versions that we will kind of yell out for that, because that's kind of more on the coaches not being aware of what's going on, just as far as than the players. So when that does get called an opponent, we will typically blame the coach for that by yelling out a combination of "Coach counts funny." Coach counts funny. Or, of course, we'll also do something like 6 is more than 5. 6 is more than 5. 6 is more than 5. Now, of course, if they are on a penalty kill, well, and that happens. It's where they get too many men on the ice and penalty. We will change that up into the current situation. So, like if it's a 4-on-5, or either a 4-on-4 or something like that, and we will instead change that to 5 is more than 4, or if they're down 2 men, then 4 is more than 3. Now, when we are on that power play and we are in our opponent's attacking zone, we do kind of have something where we encourage our guys to be a little bit more proactive given that attacking zone. So now either one of these can actually be done when we do enter that attacking zone. One of our more common ones is basically shot, which does kind of follow the I guess you could say trend for the song for this. You've probably heard it somewhere before, but it will pretty much start out with, as soon as we do enter that attacking zone on the power play, someone will yell out, "Everybody!" followed by a chant of shot, 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 shot. Everybody! And that will just kind of continue going until the puck is either cleared out of our attacking zone or, of course, we score. Now, another one that we'll do is we will do that is kind of in the same vein as shot, it is called Shoot the Puck, which again, that's kind of a little bit self-explanatory, where instead of going with shot, we will simply just start yelling out, "Shoot the puck! Shoot the puck!" And again, we will continue with that until either the puck is cleared out of our attacking zone, the penalty expires, or we score. Now, one that's kind of exclusively in the past been done by students is as the power play time is expiring, somebody will yell out, "Hey, stat boy, what's that smell?" At which point the power play time for us will expire, and the announcement will be made over the PA that our opponent is at full strength. Of course, once that announcement is finished, students will typically also yell out following up with that, "Who cares? They still suck!" Now, getting into some of our more cheers for the penalty kill, when we are on the kill and we do manage to clear that puck, we will typically do a chant, which is basically telling our opponent, go get it. Go. Get out of the zone. I'm going to go chase the puck. Now, this is pretty much done as a fetch chant. Essentially, when we do this, and again, I'll use one of our conference opponents just to kind of demonstrate here a little bit. In fact, I think this time around, I'm going to kind of use what we use for both Minnesota Duluth and St. Cloud State as an example. Just because it's probably going to make a little bit more sense with this. This being that they both do use dog mascots. But again, as soon as that clear does happen, and the puck is sent back down to their defensive zone, we will do a chant of "Fetch, puppy, fetch! Fetch, puppy, fetch! Fetch, puppy, fetch! Fetch, puppy, fetch!" Now, again, we will only do that about 4 times, and it doesn't change up depending on who we're typically playing. We'll use, again, for conference opponents, we'll use Kitty for Colorado College, Donner for Denver. We'll use something like Tweety or Birdie for Miami, Ohio, or North Dakota. With Arizona State joining the league this year, here we may use something like probably a combination of either Sparky, Pitchfork, or Satan. Western Michigan, of course. First, we'll use something like Horsey, Glue Stick, or Dog Food. And then for some of our non-conference opponents, again, that is subject to change. But for what we'll use for that, it will kind of depend on what their mascot is. And what we decide to go with. Now, again, when we are on that penalty kill, we do have a way of kind of signifying that it is coming to an end, and which is we will do a 15-second slow clap, which is at that 15-second mark. We will basically just kind of start a slow clap that picks up speed until the expiration of the penalty. And we will kind of keep doing that, just kind of build that noise, get louder and louder until that penalty does expire. Now, when we do kill off that penalty, and that power and that penalty time does expire for us, and we are announced that we are back at full strength, we do have something specifically for that. And so for that, it is basically kind of mocking our opponent just a little bit. So for that chant, it will basically be power outage, power outage. And again, we will do that about 4 times. Now, we do have a sequence of things that we will do for being scored on, unfortunately, when that does occasionally happen. But we also have a sequence for when we score as well. Now, of course, first off, let's do the more positive side of things. Things with what all happens when we score. Now, of course, first off, instinctually, you're going to start celebrating that goal or that run, and just kind of yell, scream, even high five everybody around you. You just kind of celebrate. Now, for UNO hockey, we do have kind of a tradition with that for when we do score that first goal of the game. And if you've never been, you've probably never seen this, might not have even heard of it before. But what we do is we will toss a fish out onto the ice as a sign to the opposing goaltender that it's time to fish the puck out of the back of the net. And now, a little history behind that one of our good friends, this was a member of the Red Army and the fan group Mav Puck, John Martin. He began that tradition back when we still played at the old Civic Auditorium. John unfortunately passed away before the start of the season last year, though there are those who are still carrying on that tradition in his honor and in his name. Now, a little thing that UNO has also considered trying to get students more involved in that. Now, this is all I know about it for right now. But there has been the idea kicking around that we will talk to John's widow as well as the others involved with continuing the fish toss tradition, and perhaps move that on to now a selected student for each game will continue on with that fish toss tradition of tossing the fish out onto the ice when we score. All right, now, for now, that is still in the hands of the friends of John. And so it is going to keep going for the foreseeable future. And, it's honestly a great thing that UNO wants to continue that, because that is something that it is ours. It is ingrained in the soul of UNO hockey. And I am very happy to hear that even though John is no longer with us, that tradition that he started is going to continue. Now then, a little bit of a warning. When that does happen, do not go tossing anything out onto the ice on your own unless there is a promotion tied in with that at first goal of the game, or we score a hat trick. Right, now, the reason I say that is that we can receive a penalty if you go tossing things out onto the ice yourself. And if it causes someone to get hurt, especially an opponent, because they skate over something, and they twist something, or they fall down and awkwardly and hurt something, again, we can end up getting a penalty for that. Now, again, a quick warning about that. If you do end up doing that, and we do end up getting a penalty, we will hunt you down, we will stuff you in a trash can, and you will wake up floating down the Missouri River. Don't do it. Now, of course, after that, we do, of course, have the chant of UNO, which will typically happen after the fight song plays, which, again, that's kind of a little bit self-explanatory. Basically chanting UNO, UNO, UNO at the top of your lungs. Now, getting kind of more into some of the set things that we do. This is done right after the scoring announcement. So we will have a chant of Ole. This is typically led by not only Red Army during hockey, but also the Maniacs during both hockey when the Red Army is busy or absent, and of course during soccer as well. Also, at the conclusion of the scoring announcement, we will basically do a chant of Ole, 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 ole. And we will typically do that about 4 times for every goal scored. Now that, should another goal be scored while we are doing that, we will add on another 4 rounds of Ole for that subsequent goal, and we will continue with that until all 4 rounds of Ole for each subsequent goal are sung, basically just kind of adding on to things. And well, if you want to consider it that way, just kind of being a general annoyance for our opponent. Now, of course, after the Oles are sung, we then basically do have a chant of yes. Now, some of you who are wrestling fans may recognize that we kind of took that from wrestling's Daniel Bryan. We also kind of took the idea, not only from Daniel Bryan, but from former CCHA foe Michigan State, who has done that as well. Also, it's basically a student-led chant, and again, it's fairly simplistic. It's basically just going, yes, 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 yes. And we'll basically just do that at the conclusion of all sung Oles. Now, after we get done with that yes chant, we again have something else to kind of poke fun at our opponent a little bit. So we call this buckets up. So again, at the conclusion of yes, a member of Maniacs or Red Army will yell out, and again, I'll use the Red Army reference, considering this is essentially their cheer that we've kind of adopted for ourselves as well. But Red Army will shout out, "Red Army, buckets up!" At which point, you just kind of raise whatever you've got in your hand. And if you got a cowbell, raise that cowbell up. Or if you're empty-handed, just go ahead and raise your hand. And this will be followed by a chant of goal count, ready! At which point you count off however many goals are scored. And so for this example, let's say it's 3rd goal scored against an opponent. So the chant will basically go 1, 2, 3. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. Sev. Now, again, during that entire process, it is kind of customary to point at the opponent's goaltender. And kind of let them know, you're not doing so well, buddy. Now, students will build onto this with one that we will basically do ourselves. Those within the Maniacs, and of course the students as a whole. So, at the conclusion of Buckets Up, a student, if you've been to the hockey games, you've seen me before, I will typically lead this one, and because, I've got a big mouth. I can be very loud when I choose to be. So students will typically yell out loud towards the opposing goaltender. So For this example, I'm going to use one of North Dakota's goaltenders from last year, Ludwig Persson. And so for the example of this, is the cheer will basically go, "Hey, Persson! Guess what? You suck!" Now, again, if this is at hockey, the Red Army, which typically sits next to us, this in the next section over, they will typically add on with this just by yelling in response to the students, "We concur!" Now, after that, Red Army will also typically add on to that by yelling out, "Also!" and launch into this next cheer, which is basically, "We want another one." And now, again, I'm going to use the example that we have scored 3 goals here. So, in this case, the chant will basically just be, "We want another one, just like the other one. We want 4." And again, we will do that about 4 different times. Now, again, it's unfortunate, but it does happen from time to time. We get scored on. So when that does happen, you kind of want to pick the guys up a little bit. So we will basically just launch into a chant of UNO, UNO, UNO. Basically, just kind of let our student athletes know, hey, it happens. We've still got your back. We're still behind you. We still support you. We're still here. And we still believe in you. Now, for this week, I think that's all we're going to get to. Come part 4 here next week, we will be getting into some of the stuff that we do for post-game. Post-game to celebrate some of our victories, as well as some of our decommissioned and rarely used cheers that require situations that are kind of a little bit rare, so we don't use these all that much. Now, I will also let you know that at the conclusion of that, once we get through all of that, and we're kind of wrap up our expose here of our cheer guide, I will have kind of a little special announcement to make after that. Just kind of giving you guys a little bit of a heads up about that. Either way, again, coming up here, we do have the start of the season coming up here in a couple of weeks. We do again have that exhibition game for the men's side with St. Louis coming up on August 10th. August 15th, things start counting for real with our women's soccer team taking on SIU Edwardsville. Well, that'll be the 15th at 7 o'clock. Again, hope to see you out there in as many games as we can all get to. We'll see you next week. And of course, as always, go Mavs!